just how small of an impact wrench do you want? Is this DeWalt too small? We'll find out in just a moment. I'm Tim. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. This is the DeWalt DCF902B for the bare tool and the DCF902F2 for the kit as you see it here, which comes with a charger, the two 2-amp-hour 12-volt batteries, and the Xtreme 12-volt compact impact tool. Now, this is a 3/8 anvil, and again they call it their Xtreme Compact, and it is pretty extremely compact. It's a very small impact. Now, it still supposedly packs a punch. They're saying like 2,400 inch-pounds, which 2,400 inch-pounds to me sounds like 200 feet-pounds, right? Foot-pounds. 200 foot-pounds. And that's on loosening. Now tightening, I believe it's either 1,200 or 1,400. I'll tell you in a moment when we talk about the features. You get a couple of options on this, or a couple of features on it, not options, a couple of features on it. But before I talk too much longer, let me run over the features. Then we'll take it over to the test bench and let's actually see how much power this thing will lay out there. Also, we'll kind of see how much battery drop we get over that testing and see if these smaller 12-volt batteries are going to be a problem or if it's just going to be a really handy impact wrench. I could totally see this for interior work and, you know, top of the engine work, if you will, smaller jobs, if you will, around the vehicle as well as around the shop. I could see it very light and handy because it is a small tool. So love seeing that. Love seeing that compact series grow in all the tools. So stick around. We'll check out the features. We'll use it on the test bench. We'll come out. Then we'll come back, conclude everything, talk about the numbers that we came up with, tell you what kind of a buy you're going to get. So here you go. The DeWalt DCF902. Look at that. My gloves match to the DeWalt, close. A little bit different hue. Mine's more banana yellow. This is DeWalt yellow. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so this is their Xtreme 12-volt brushless tool. It is extremely small, I will tell you that. And I shouldn't say extremely small, it's extremely handy. I mean, it still fits very comfortably in your hand, so it doesn't feel too small. But light, my goodness, let's see how light it actually is. I believe they say 1.7 pounds for tool only, but we could care less about tool only because typically when you're carrying your tool or using your tool, you're using a battery, right? Yeah, don't answer what I just asked you. Anyway, okay, so 2.3 ounces. So that's with the 2-amp-hour 12-volt battery on here. That's what it comes kitted with. That's why we're using that. So again, 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. Very light tool. Now, as far as size goes, this thing is, I believe it's like 5.1 inches. And look at that, I got my centimeter scale here. So we're looking at, yeah, right at 13 centimeters. So yeah, that's a very short tool. And yeah, so that's roughly 5.5 centimeters. So yeah, that's a little over 2 inches there, 2 inches wide, 5.1 inches long. As far as height, I'm not sure, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, just a very handy tool. One thing I really like on this is the LED here on the front. You got the 3 LEDs that surround the fastener, surround the socket. So you're going to get a lot better light distribution rather than something shining up from the bottom like they all used to do and like some of them still do. Then you got your typical directional change, so forward and reverse. You also get a couple of modes on this. You get a high-low. So you can see here, so there's precision wrench, there's low, and there's high. So all three are on for high, and then everything's off except precision wrench mode for precision wrench mode, and then that's low and that's high. Precision wrench mode is going to keep it from tightening too much so that you can come back with a torque wrench, as well as when you're backing it off, it's going to keep things, it should be 100% power backing it off. And as soon as it senses that it's loose, it'll prevent fling off or prevent it from running away and just, you know, throwing a lug nut across the room or whatever you're backing out. No load speed is like 2,800 RPMs, and your maximum impacts per minute is 3,600 impacts per minute. Again, that's going to vary depending on which mode you're in, but that would be top of the RPMs is 2,800 and top of the impacts per minute is 3,600 or 2,850 for RPMs. variable speed trigger so I can go as slow as I want to, regardless of which speed I'm in, and then also bring it up to that max as well. So nice variable speed trigger, no steps in there at all. Can vary that and feather that with my finger there. Very handy little tool. Let's actually take this over. Let's use this and see what we think about the power output, and as well as about if there's any battery drop off that happens too quickly. Okay, so here's the drill. First, let me cover, I believe that I said this only has 1,400 inch-pounds of force in tightening. That's not true. I think it's it's supposed to have 1,500 inch-pounds of force. In fact, I may have said 1,200. Regardless, it has 1,500 inch-pounds of torque, which to me is like 125 foot-pounds, if my calculation is near correct. And then 2,800 or 2,400 inch-pounds of breakaway force. So 2,400 inch-pounds would be 200 foot-pounds. So should have 200 foot-pounds of breakaway force, which is a lot in this little tool. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the regular deal if you haven't seen us do this before. I'm going to run through all 10 of these. We're going to tighten them for 5 seconds each. So I'm going to hammer on them for 5 seconds each. I'm going to take a torque wrench, back these off, get a calculation. Should tell us an idea of fastening torque after we divide by our factor. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment as well. And then while we're calculating those numbers, we'll run through and we'll torque these down to varying amounts and then see if it'll back these off using the removal torque, if you will. And then we'll test the precision wrench mode as well. So first up, we're going to hammer on these for 5 seconds each. So I've got the impact wrench in high, as well as we have a full battery. So we've got a full charge on the 2 amp hour 12 volt battery. And let's go to tightening these. See how much battery drop we have? We still got 3 cells on this. So after hammering on all 10 of those, I'm pretty surprised by that, by the way. We've still got a full cell or full pack. So now let's take our torque wrench, we'll back these off, and then we'll write those down, figure out the values, and then we'll divide by our factor. Let's get started. 4, 6, 2, 4, 3, 6, 7, 9, 4. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set our torque to 100 foot-pounds on these two, and then we're going to go to 150 on these two, and then to 200 on these two, and then we'll do 225 here just to see if it'll go that high. But so 100 on these first two. And then we'll go 150. And then we're going to go to 200. And then we'll go to 250 or 225. Okay, so I know I have some haters on this that can't stand me running a 3/8 adapter, but I don't have a 1/2 inch anvil, and you can't find a 33 millimeter in a 3/8 drive. If you can, let me know. Anyway, so I am running an adapter. I do know it robs some power. It does not rob a lot of power. We'll do an episode on a video on specifically those things, but this straight adapter is not robbing a lot of power. Anyway, so we've got these torqued at 100, 150, 200, and 225. I'm going to go in reverse. Again, we're on high, and we're going to see if we can break these free. So 100. Can't do that one. 100 foot-pounds, supposed to be able to break 200 pounds free. In reverse. Okay, let's charge this battery. Now we're down to 1 bar. I'm gonna put a fully charged battery on there and see if we can't break it free. All right, so now we've got a full battery again. So we put a full charge battery on here. Again, we've got this torqued at 100 foot-pounds, then 150, 200, and 225. It's supposed to have 2,400 inch-pounds of breakaway force, which would be 200 foot-pounds. Again, got it in reverse, got it on high, and here we go. Gonna go to 75 foot-pounds. Again, you got a full charge. Gonna go to 75 foot-pounds. Broke that free. Broke that free. So 75 foot-pounds, definitely touching that upper end. Go to 80 here. And then we'll go to 85. Okay, so now we've got 80 and 85. It's 80. There's 80. Here's 85. Nope. So it does break it loose after a while. So I would call 85 foot-pounds kind of top of the realm, if you will, with the 2 amp hour battery. I'm curious what battery maybe they use to get to their 200 foot-pound or 2,400 inch-pound. I do know our adapter is robbing some power, but there's no way it's robbing 50% of the power. We're not even getting 100 foot-pounds there. But again, they may have used a larger battery in the testing. I don't have a larger 12 volts, so that's why we're sticking with 2 amp hour, and that's what comes with the kit. And after all that, we're still got 3 full bars on the battery. Let's go in the precision mode. So now I'm in the precision mode and show you what that looks like. So now these 2 nuts are backed off. And if I go into Tighten, you see that it spins it quick and then stops. So basically it kind of burps, if you will. You see it. So it starts and then hesitates and then starts again. And then you see on reverse, it gets real slow. Still got my finger on the trigger, so it starts off hard. And as soon as it senses that it's loose, then it slows it way down. There we go. Okay, and then Tighten mode in the precision wrench. But if you keep your finger on the trigger, it will start hammering again, but it gives you that quick. So then you can stop knowing that it's kind of... I know other tools, when you keep your finger on there, it will stop, but this just kind of hesitates for a second and then starts again. So, little different activity, but I get it. It kind of lets you know when it senses that it's a little bit tight, you can back off. And then on the removal, it slows it way down and doesn't take your nut and fling it off across the floor or what have you. So nice compact little gun. Can I just say one thing? Thank you, DeWalt. Thank you for not putting this belt clip on our impact wrench, you know, for two reasons. Number one, that we don't have to remove it. And number two, we're tool guys, right? So we know how to put belt clips on or tool belts on or tool, whatever this thing is, tool clip. We know how to put a tool clip on. So you provide that in the package if we want to. And if we don't want to, we just throw them away right there in the trash. That's where belt clips belong. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I do appreciate that. I don't have to take off the belt clip, so thank you for doing that. Still got it if I need it, or I could fish it out of the trash. But anyway, so the DCF902, 902B if you want the bare tool, DCF902F2 if you want the kit with the two 12 volt, 2 amp hour batteries. Again, you get a 3/8 inch anvil, get an awesome LED light in the front. I do like the LED light. It shines very well, as long as your socket's not too big. You know, we were kind of oversizing it in our testing, but typically on a wrench like this, on an impact like this, you're going to be running smaller sockets anyway. Now, the precision wrench mode was pretty cool. The backing off was pretty typical. It, you know, broke it free and then backed it off slowly, so you didn't need to, you know, to slow down or let go of it. It's not going to go slinging it across the shop. Tightening was a little bit different in the precision wrench mode, so it basically tightened and hit. You know, as soon as it impacted, it stopped, but it only stopped for a brief second and then went back to kind of 100% power. So I guess when you do sense that, you do have to let off the trigger. It's not going to stay stopped, if you will. But again, I'm sure that's a training thing that'll absolutely work. Low and high, we just used it in high. We didn't yield the results that DeWalt was claiming. DeWalt was claiming 2,400 inch-pounds of loosening and 1,500 inch-pounds of tightening, which should equate to about 125 foot-pounds of tightening and 200 foot-pounds of loosening. We basically got it to break free 85 foot-pound bolts. So, you know, we're only seeing, you know, 85 foot-pounds. Again, I know I was running an adapter. I know I was running a big socket on there. So I know that kind of drowns out some of that power, but I can't see it drowning out half of that. So as far as tightening goes, here are the figures. So we tighten these down for 10 seconds each, or no, 5 seconds. We tighten them down for 5 seconds each, and then we take our torque wrench, back those off, and we basically get a figure. And those were 86.1, 76.0, 64.2, 63.9, 59.9, 57.4, 56.9, 56.0, 55.2, and 53.3. Now what we do is we take a factor. We take the last number that we tested was 77 foot-pounds. In other words, or not foot-pounds, percent. We know if we tighten something to 100 foot-pounds, it typically only takes somewhere between 75 and 80% of that value to break that free. And when we tested our last range of 20 bolts, we got a 77 factor. So that's what we're using. We divide by 0.77, and here's what we come up with. 111.8, 98.7, 83.4, 83.0, 77.8, 74.5, 73.9, 72.7, 71.7, and 69.2. That gives us an average of 81.7 foot-pounds. That's the breakaway force, or that's the tightening force that we came up with. So the fastening torque that we come up with is like 81.7. And then on the breakaway, we realized that basically it seems like it would break away a bolt that was tightened to 85 foot-pounds. So that's the values we came up with. Again, I know we were using oversized sockets. I know we're using an adapter. Typically an adapter may rob a few percentage of power points, but not that much. We'll do some more testing with it and see. Still, for light stuff under the hood, for an interior, taking out seats, taking off door panels, again, everywhere around kind of the top of the hood without getting too deep in an engine, this would be a great little gun. Very, very handy, very light, very easy to handle, very easy, around the shop, you're doing small things. And let's face it, even up to say a 5/8 or an 18 millimeter bolt, you're still only torquing those to what, 50, 60 foot-pounds at the most? So this gun can handle that. Again, if you got an old rusty faster, then yeah, you may need to break out a mid or a high torque model as well. As far as price on this, you can get this whole kit for $149. I think the tool by itself is like $100 or $119. But again, the kit with the two amp hour batteries and the charger is only $149. So that's a really good deal. And it is an extremely small gun. And I should say extremely handy gun, because when I say extremely small, that might seem it's kind of hard to hold, and it's not. It's got a nice full-size handle, but the head is very small. You can get it in the tight spots. It's longer than it is thick, so it's very narrow, but it is a little bit longer than, say, a typical, stubby or subcompact. but very handy gun. If you're already in the DeWalt 12-volt platform, be a nice tool to have, very nice tool to have. So anyway, make sure you check that out. Again, it's the DCF902 F2 for the kit, and it's the DCF902B if you want the bare tool by itself. And again, it's $119 or $149. That's a 3-year warranty as well. Hey, make sure you keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you like this video? If you didn't like this video, by all means, give us that thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.